Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and Ringside with Gio is back to bring you your SmackDown review. And before we even get into the SmackDown review, I want to cover one big thing, one huge thing. CM Punk. Is he back with WWE, or is he just signing a deal with Fox? As of what I heard, he just signed a deal with Fox, but eventually this will be leading to him going back to WWE. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the future weeks, months, or maybe even years to come. You even got Seth Rollins tweeting out, "Fight me, CM Punk," adding him and everything, but who knows? Who knows? But one of the GOATs is back within that WWE area, and it is so good to see him back. I would have loved, it doesn't really matter, I would have loved to see him in AEW, but I also would have loved to see him back here with WWE, which has happened. Both of them, it's great. Dream come true. So, to start off the show now here, King Corbin is carried to the ring in a throne with like a bunch of noobs around him. And he says that everyone should pledge loyalty to his kingdom, just like Rude and Ziggler. Corbin thinks Roman Reigns just doesn't have it anymore. This isn't Reigns' yard. This is Corbin's kingdom. Corbin declares he is now the captain of Team SmackDown. Corbin, Reigns, Braun Strowman, Shorty G, and Mustafa Ali are announced on the SmackDown Survivor Series team. Ziggler and Rude say they should have been on the team. They are going to rectify the Traversity tonight. Corbin asks Reigns to join him in the ring since they are teammates. Reigns' music hits. Same thing as last week. This was an absolute cringe fest, by the way. But his music hits, and like a guy, it was a mascot, comes out as like as a dog basically, and he comes into the ring, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, this has to end. So, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode versus Shorty G and Mustafa Ali. It was a very good match. The winner of this match will stay in the Survivor Series team. So Shorty G and Mustafa Ali are currently in it. But my mistake, if Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode do win, they're gonna take Shorty G and Mustafa Ali's place in there, and those two are gonna be out. So basically, match starts off kind of around the beginning, rolling facebuster by Ali. After a distraction by Ziggler, Roode takes control of Ali. Then after basically a lot of distraction and a lot of interference going on with Corbin, Reigns' music hits. He hits a drive-by on Corbin, then eventually he hits the spear, and then this leads to Shorty G blasting Ziggler with a Chaos Theory. Ali pins Ziggler after a 450 splash. And those are your winners, and they are staying on the SmackDown Survivor Series team to be going up against Raw and NXT. And yeah, Dolph Ziggler, of course, continues to get the living hell beat out of him. Poor guy. This guy can't catch a break. This guy has been buried like 50 feet under in WWE. This guy's career is like just destroyed. Like, is a future Hall of Famer? He is. He's had a good career for what they have, I guess, had booked him as, but man, they could have used Ziggler so much better in his career. I'm talking about like Shawn Michaels level, but there's some things you hate to see, ladies and gentlemen, and guess what? That's one of them. So, shout out Barstool. So, Firefly Funhouse. Wyatt turns into a magician, and he turns the Universal Championship blue. And what I don't like about this is that the Universal Championship just looks like the Women's SmackDown Championship. Like, I really wish WWE will go back to that old school style like of belts. Like how every belt had its own unique design. It just now really doesn't like represent its own brand. But we're going to have to stick with that. And that's how it's going to be for many of the years to come. So, and then he also says how he's going to be watching Daniel Bryan tonight on his favorite show, Miz TV. That's complete garbage coming out of his mouth because I know it's not his favorite show. It's probably the Firefly Funhouse after this. So here is an in-ring segment with the B team and Drew Gulak. So the B team basically, Drew Gulak is, by the way, before I even get into this, Drew Gulak, the former Cruiserweight champion, one of the greatest Cruiserweight champions of all time, arguably the best Cruiserweight champion of all time, alongside with Neville. But basically, this is what they got Gulak doing. Gulak's trying to convince Strowman why he would be better on the team, on the SmackDown team, than Strowman. And he starts waving his fingers in Strowman's face. Strowman tries to break his hands, but the B team attack. Strowman destroys the B team, and and Gulak gets out of the ring and he escapes. So, after this, Kofi Kingston says they won the tag titles in honor of Xavier Woods and they're going to defend them for Woods as well tonight. Then comes backstage. Sami Zayn and Nakamura try to stop Daniel Bryan to convince him once again to be on their side. And Daniel Bryan's like, look, why'd you run away last week when The Fiend attacked me? He has Sami Zayn. And Zayn tried to get out of it, his heel style way of doing. Now it's kind of growing on me. And it's like, but I know past weeks, I wasn't happy at all with what they were doing with Sami Zayn. It's pretty funny now. I still wish they would be doing so much more with him because the guy still hasn't even won a title on the main roster, and that's crazy to me. But Daniel Bryan finally speaks, and he says that he doesn't want to be part of them, but he says, oh, you should get Braun Strowman. And Zayn was just basically saying how Strowman is like just useless to him and Nakamura, and then Strowman's like right there, and no action happens, but you know how that will go off. And next year is the New Day versus the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So towards the end of this match, Wilder tries to electric chair Big E, and he actually got him up, and this was like, I was like, oh my god, like he freaking picked him up, and I didn't think Wilder was that strong at all. I really surprised him. So, but he kind of struggles to get Big E up, but he was fully able to do it. And then Wilder clotheslines each other at the same time. Kingston tags in. Kingston lands a falling star splash to the outside. Dawson DDTs Big E for a near fall. Big E launches Kofi Kingston over the top onto Dawson and Wilder, but Dawson and Wilder catch Kingston in midair. The Revival sends Kingston into a ring post. The Revival suplex Big E on the announced desk. The Revival hit the Shatter Machine on Big E and Kingston. And Kingston on the top rope just, after he landed too, like by the ring post, which really surprised me. I thought we were going to be going hot potato with the tag team titles again. And I would have given it back to the Revival. They should have never lost the tag team titles to begin with, let alone on a non-taped show and on SmackDown, not on a pay-per-view. Nah, that doesn't gel well with me. But I was even surprised Kofi Kingston was able to break up this pinfall. But then after that, the Undisputed Era come in. They're destroying everybody in the ring, including the Revival, and they get out because a lot of people from backstage of the locker room for SmackDown come out to like just get them out of the way. So after this was Heavy Machinery versus Jobbers. Heavy Machinery win. I don't really need to cover that. And after this was Bayley and Sasha Banks bragging about beating up Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross all over again. Next year is Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Cross sends Bayley out of the ring. Bayley sends Cross into the ring steps. Shayna Baszler jumps the barricade. Bayley runs into the crowd to avoid Baszler. Mia Yim, Dakota Kai, Rhea Ripley, and Tegan Nox attack Bayley. Sasha Banks blindsides Baszler into the ring. Bayley and Baszler fight into the crowd as the rest of the NXT woman attacks Banks. Carmella and Dana Brooke make the save, and Banks challenges NXT to a match right now. I was very happy to see that was actually going to be going on, to see, giving NXT that type of talent, or giving NXT that type of TV time on SmackDown. They're already really considered a main roster show, but it's always good to push NXT because the more you do, the better, especially since it's competing on Wednesday nights with AEW. So, towards the end of this match, Ripley counters Sasha Banks into a pin. Banks kicks out. Everyone hits a big move. Dakota Kai surprises Banks with a running boot into the corner. Kai Scorpion kicks Cross. Cross reverses Kai's suplex into a swinging neckbreaker for the win. So, Team SmackDown win. I would have given it to NXT, but that's me being biased because all know me. I'm an NXT and AEW guy. So, then towards the end of the show, well, this was the end of the show, it was Miz TV. So, Miz is basically really excited about having Daniel Bryan on the show with him. And he tells Daniel Bryan, why did the Fiend attack you? And Daniel Bryan doesn't want to answer. And he tells Daniel Bryan the reason why is basically because he says if Bryan won't answer, Miz won't answer for him. Miz says the Fiend attacked because Bryan isn't the man he used to be. Bryan doesn't know who he is, and neither does Bryan. Maya says he thinks the Fiend can see that Bryan is washed up. So then Bryan gets pissed off and he goes on a great promo basically, and he gets on the mic and he finally speaks to The Miz, and he says that it's because him and The Fiend are like mentally unstable. So they like share that relationship, and that The Fiend sees that in Daniel Bryan and he wants to take advantage of that. And he tells The Miz that Miz TV sucks too as well. And so then out of nowhere, the Fiend pops up on not the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse thing pops out, and Wyatt says the Fiend may just remember what Bryan did to him. Wyatt pulls the Universal Championship out of the toy box. Wyatt asks Bryan to come play. Ryan just has to say the magic word yes, and Bryan and all the puppets in the Firefly Funhouse get into a dueling yes and no chance, and Bryan says he doesn't want to play. So then he asks Bray Wyatt, let's have a match for the Universal title. And Bray Wyatt just chants yes and yes over again, and he gets even louder and he looks crazy doing it. And that's basically going to be the end of the show. That's how SmackDown Live ends up. I really hope you all enjoyed this review. Make sure you super kick that like button, Tombstone Power Drive, that subscribe button, notifications on, and RKO the comment section. Send out to a bunch of your friends, family members. Go check out our most recent video also here on the channel. My social media and Instagram are also down below in the description. Go give that a follow. And thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.